Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
Better weather greets fans as they enter Great American Ballpark here today. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon as the Reds try to get the upper hand in this series after winning big yesterday. It's the Reds and the Pirates on Fox Sports Ohio. Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Reds Baseball. I'm Jim Couch, along with Chris Welsh, up here in the Champion Windows broadcast booth. Reds did get the win here yesterday, winning big 11-2. They did it on a big hit by Ramon Hernandez. And, Chris, it's the second time this year he's come up big with a long ball.
Yeah, but it's only the second time this year. Jim, he's come up big so many times in the past. Since he's put a Reds uniform on, he's become Mr. Clutch. And here's the home run that we see. That was on opening day off John Axford. That won the ball game, a walk-off win for the Reds, and Hernandez and everybody else, including Dusty, very, very happy. And, of course, yesterday he hit the grand slam. But the key to Hernandez not only is the grand slam, but it's the foul balls and the spoiling of the pitches that he gets earlier in the at-bat that finally gets him enough pitches in the at-bat to get a hanger from the pitcher, and that's where he makes his business. But it's keeping the at-bat alive is what Ramon Hernandez does the best.
Well, the grand slam yesterday, the sixth of his career. Reds won that one 11-2. Well, Edinson Volquez on the mound today. Little flip-flop from yesterday. Leak went yesterday. Volquez goes today. American Ballpark, the site for today's game, the third game of this four-game series, the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. And as you can see, much warmer here today. Sun is shining. Folks are going to have a good time. And for more on the weather, let's go to Jeff Creighton from WKRC-TV.
Well, finally, a dry day. The stars have aligned. A dry day and a home game at Great American Ballpark. First pitch, 56 degrees, 60 by the seventh inning stretch. Final out, 61, and another Reds win.
Red starter today, Edinson Volquez.
Well, the right-hander is unblemished as far as wins and losses this year, at least as losses go, but he's had some problems in the first inning. The earned run average in the first inning is up around 30, and the earned run average after that is down around 1. So the Reds are trying to figure out a way to get him figured out in the first inning. They tried different things. He warms up a little bit more. He throws more breaking balls in the first inning. Bottom line is this: when Edinson Volquez takes the mound, he's a pitcher with a lot of emotion. He's got the adrenaline running through his body, and early on, he really jumps at the hitters, overthrows. Here's a memo to him that I got from an old-time player when I first pitched. Don't forget to breathe, and breathe nice and deep and nice and slow. That should slow him down a little bit and make it a lot easier for him to get through the first inning. We all know he's got the stuff to go a long, long way deep in this game.
Well, this will be his fourth start of the year here today. Well, the Reds certainly had the offense going yesterday to the tune of 11 runs. They'll try to keep it going today against Jeff Karstens.
State Farm agents are there when you need them. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. By your local Ford dealer. Drive one. By Cincinnati USA. Come for the Reds, stay for more fun. Book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. When you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time.
Third game of this four-game series here at GABP, and what little youngster doesn't like to play in the dirt, Chris Welsh?
Hey, that's a manager in the making right there, either related perhaps to Earl Weaver. Maybe that's Lou Pinella's grandkid. I don't know about that, but getting some of the finer points of managing down early on.
That's a great shot right there. Let's take a look now at the Pittsburgh Pirate lineup for this afternoon's game. Andrew McCutchen, Jose Tabata, and Lyle Overbay make up the top three. Neil Walker, Pedro Alvarez, and Garrett Jones the middle. Chris Snyder back in there after not playing yesterday does the catching. Ronnie Cedeno and the pitcher, right-hander Jeff Karstens. On the mound for the Reds, it's Edinson Volquez.
Well, he's had 3 starts. He has a record of 2-0 in those starts. He did not win opening day. Of course, he was pulled off the hook by that dramatic home run by Ramon Hernandez to win the ball game. But he did beat Houston with 5 innings of 4-run baseball. And, of course, on the road trip, his last start, he beat the San Diego Padres with 6 innings of 2-run baseball. Pushed back one day, a sore neck. But Edinson Volquez swears he's ready to go today. It did not look like he was affected at all in warm-up pitches, Jim. So I expect him to go out and throw like he has, which is when he gets his feet under him and his rhythm down and kind of in the flow of the game, he's been very dominant. The question for Volquez was get by the first inning first.
Well, he's allowed at least 2 runs in each of the first 3 innings that he has pitched this year. 3 on opening day, 4 in that start, as Chris mentioned, against Houston. And maybe his best first inning was his last time out when he allowed 2 against San Diego. Andrew McCutchen will lead things off. And we are underway here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon.
All right, now how the Pirates in this particular lineup done against Volquez? Not very well. Only 2 hits overall, an .074 batting average. So advantage Volquez at this point, at least on paper.
In terms of Andrew McCutchen, he is nothing out of 3 with a strikeout against the right-hander. McCutchen in this series is 1 for 8, hitting .204. They've used this series to put him back in their #1 spot in the batting order. Well, it's hard to believe, but it's happened again for the second time this year. A home run to start the game against Edinson Volquez. For McCutchen, it is his 3rd, and it's hard to fathom, but in each of the 4 starts, Edinson Volquez has been touched up for at least a run.
Well, you know, the guy's a good fastball hitter. We've said that every time we've seen Andrew McCutchen play, and if you throw the ball up and away to Andrew McCutchen, he's got plenty of bat speed to ride it on out of here. The way you get him out is to get your breaking ball over early on, but that's where Edinson Volquez has had a problem, working that breaking ball.
Another ball hit well to right. Another ball that has left the park. Jose Tabata this time. Remnants of Ricky Weeks and Carlos Gomes on opening day. Those 2 balls went to left. These 2 go to right.
Well, again, another fastball, and I guess the philosophy this time with Edinson Volquez struggling so much in the first inning was, all right, let's go out there and throw some fastballs, and let's get you into the groove of the game before we start trying to trick him with breaking balls and off-speed stuff. But maybe they ought to go to plan B. That's some pretty good hitting, back-to-back Oppage home runs.
5 home run balls now given up by Volquez. Number 3, respectively, for both McCutchen and Tabata. The Pirates, who jumped out in front in the game in the 2nd inning on Friday, have jumped out early in this game on back-to-back opposite field shots.
You know, Jim, once or twice a year, we sometimes broadcast them out there. We'd already have a couple of souvenirs.
We'd have people flocking to us wanting those, wouldn't we?
Of course, we'd probably be throwing them back on the field.
While Overbay now is up there, and he gets ahead 2-0.
You know, it's got to be almost a surreal feeling for Edinson Volquez out here. I mean, you know, you're reliving, deja vu all over again. And, you know, to give up 2 home runs to start the ball game, it's got to take you out of your mental plan a little bit. You're feeling good. You've been set back a day. You have an extra day's rest. You're probably throwing the fastball pretty good. And all of a sudden you look up and you're down 2-0 after 2 batters. It's almost too weird to believe.
Well, you touched on it in the open regarding the ERA of Volquez in the first inning versus the rest of the game. A 27 ERA in the first inning through his first 3 starts, and a 1.29 over the rest.
He's not the only pitcher to struggle in the first inning. In fact, I can tell you as a former starting pitcher, sometimes that first inning is the toughest of all, because you come out of the bullpen, you're not so sure how your stuff, your breaking balls, your change-ups, your control and command are going to translate from the bullpen mound to the regular mound, you know, when the game begins and the umpire's in there and so on. But you've got to figure out a way to mentally overcome that edge, and right now that's a very tough thing for Edinson Volquez to figure out.
Here's Neil Walker with a runner on after the walk to Lyle Overbay, and so the first 3 have reached. Volquez gets a Bronx cheer, as it were, from the crowd here. For an opening day, the first 4 Milwaukee Brewers reached. The second start by Edinson Volquez, that was against Houston. The first 2 reached, and 4 of the first 6. There's a deep drive to center. Not out of the park, but off the wall. Will it get another run home? It will not. as Nick Leyva stops the runner Overbay at third, but 3 hard hit balls here in the first.
Fortunately for the Reds, that this ball was hit very high in the air, and Lyle Overbay at first base wasn't sure whether Drew Stubbs was going to catch up to it or not. You see, he breaks a little bit towards right center and then comes back around and simply runs out of room. But they're centering it up pretty good right now.
First triple of the year for Walker. First triple of the first double of the year for Walker. He's now out at second base, second and third with nobody out. Here's Pedro Alvarez.
I'll tell you, we talked about it, Jim. This Pirates ball club against a right-handed pitcher like Edinson Volquez can really run up on left-handers on you. Now, Ryan Domit, the switch-hitting catcher, is not in the game today, but they've got a number of them in a row. In Overbay, Walker, Alvarez, Garrett Jones. These guys can do some damage if you don't figure out a way to get lefties out.
Pedro Alvarez leads the National League in strikeouts with 18, and that's what Volquez would dearly love to get right here. Alvarez in the series is 2 out of 7, hitting just .208. Shaky start again for the right-hander Volquez.
Good changeup right there, and that is a key for Edinson Volquez. When he really found his success a couple of years ago and was the Reds representative to the All-Star game, he primarily threw fastball changeup. He was almost like Mario Soto, and then when he came back from his Tommy John is when he began to use his breaking ball a little bit.
Well, he gets what he'd hoped for, the strikeout. This one looking of Alvarez, and the first out here in the first. Let's take a look at our forward defensive look at the Cincinnati Reds. Gomes, Stubbs, Bruce, stalwarts in the outfield. Infield third to first is Roland and Janisch. Cairo and Votto for Miguel Cairo, his third straight start at second base. Ramon Hernandez catches Volquez as he normally does in all 4 starts so far this year. Well, they could use another strikeout here or a pop-up. Garrett Jones has had a good series, including a home run ball, stands in there.
Got to be a very disappointing at bat there for Pedro Alvarez to get caught looking with a couple of runners on base in the first inning and nobody out. Got to be a little more aggressive than that. I expect Garrett Jones to be willing to swing the bat.
Again, a good off-speed pitch.
Great arm action, maybe one of the best changeups around, but he just has to figure out a way to take it to the mound from the first pitch.
Well, you really got to battle yourself out there now, don't you, if you're Volquez getting through this?
Well, look at it this way. If he only gives up 2 runs in this inning, it'll be kind of a win for him in a small point of view. For instance, if he's able to give up 2 runs here and then shut him out the rest of the way, who cares when you give the runs up? But he's got his back against the wall.
Behind on the count to Garrett Jones, who homered here on Friday night.
Now, he's got a base open, and I think Ramon Hernandez is going to go to the mound and say, listen, this guy's got some home run pop. In fact, he's hit a home run already in this series. There's no reason here to pipe a fastball or hang a breaking ball and let Garrett Jones make this, a 5-run ball game. You got a base open and a right-handed hitter, and not a real great right-handed hitter on deck in Chris Snyder, a guy that might be a good opportunity for a ground ball double play. So let's pitch very carefully here the next couple of pitches to Garrett Jones, and if you lose him, go after Snyder.
Chased one low, didn't get it, and now a full count.
Well, Garrett Jones doesn't want to walk. He wants to go up there and swing the bat, drive some runs in. He sees a couple of ribeye steaks out there on the base paths.
Feeling good, at least in this series. 4 hits and 6 at-bats for the Pirate right fielder. Pirates on a road trip that will take them to Florida after the game here on Monday. The Reds stay home. They have the Arizona Diamondbacks in town. Pittsburgh has done pretty well on the road this season, winning 5 of 8. Trying to get him to chase that one low. Jones laid off. Second walk of the inning by Volquez, and here are the Pirates with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Well, let's hope that Brian Price can deliver a message that will get the same type of result that he did yesterday when he went out to talk to the starter, Mike Leake. Leake was having a problem throwing strikes. He went out there, consequently got Leake right back on track, and he pitched the next innings, a couple of innings real well.
That was in the 4th inning yesterday when Leake got touched up by the Pirates. The Reds had led 2-0, and Mike gave up 2 runs in the top of the 4th inning. But boy, he closed well in that inning. A sac fly by Cedeno and a strikeout of the pitcher, and then really breezed through the 5th and 6th. Let's see if Brian has the same effect here as the Pirates send up Chris Snyder, only playing in his 3rd game. Started the year on the disabled list with a stiff back. Right-handed hitter. Reds would love a double play ball. They turned a pair yesterday. Snyder in the game here on Friday went 3 for 5, including a couple of RBIs. Former Arizona Diamondback. This is the issue, though. When you fall behind these hitters, percentages really go into their favor.
Well, you're right, and that's when you really try to be too perfect. And the first 2 pitches in this at bat against Snyder, he's just trying to hit along the edges. Now he's got to throw it down the middle at the knees and just let some action take over and hope Snyder rolls over on it.
Joey chases and can't quite get it. That just didn't quite have enough air underneath it for Votto to get over there. Homers by Andrew McCutchen and Jose Tabata to start this game. As unconceivable as that is, again against Volquez. The Pirates are on front. Now Volquez finds himself a pitch away from walking in a run. He misses badly there for his 3rd walk of the inning. And not only have the runs against him in the first been an issue, walks have been as well. He's now walked 8 batters in 4 first innings this season.
Well, you know, when you're wild outside the strike zone, I've said this for a long time, you're wild inside the strike zone. And that will lead to giving up bombs, home runs, hard hit balls, because you're really not sure where that ball is going to go. I mean, he's trying to throw a strike, I can guarantee you that. He's not trying to just nibble around the edges, but he just doesn't have the ability to repeat his delivery well enough yet to be able to do that. And that's, you need something more out of your ace than what Volquez has given you so far.
Here's the 8th man to bat for the Pirates in the inning. Their shortstop, Ronnie Cedeno. He's hitting 175 on the year. Jordan Smith is already up and throwing in the Reds bullpen. Stubbs chasing this ball down. It's going to get a run home. It's caught on the track right in front of the Reds bullpen. Runners from 2nd and 3rd both tag. Walker scores. Jones moves to 3rd. Pirates have added a 4th run here in the 1st inning. Now Jeff Karstens will round out the Pittsburgh batting order by coming up there here in the 1st inning.
Well, you know, when you're a starting pitcher and you're on the road and you get the bat before you take the mound, that's always a pretty good sign.
Well, Karstens is filling in for Ross Ohlendorf starting in this game. Ohlendorf has been placed on the Pittsburgh disabled list with a right shoulder strain. In fact, left his start 10 days ago because of that. He's on their DL. They don't know that Karstens is going to be the guy long term, but he is today. And you know, as you said, he's got to love this.
He's a swing man. I mean, he's the guy that, you know, back in the old days when he only carried 9 or 10 pitchers on a pitching staff, you'd have a guy that would be your 5th starter and your long reliever. Well, in today's game, that would be Jeff Karstens.
Home run McCutchen, home run Tabata, walk to Overbay, double by Walker. Strikeout looking of Alvarez, then back-to-back walks to Jones and Snyder. Through all that so far, 4 Pirate runs.
You know, the other part of this, and it might be a minor part right now when you look at the scoreboard and find your team down 4-0, is the fact that he's already thrown over 30 pitches. So, you know, for every 10 or 15 pitches you throw over 15 per inning, you're probably robbing yourself of an inning later in the ball game. So instead of going 7 innings, he may only go 6, or instead of going 6, he may only go 5. And that, of course, affects the bullpen and how Dusty Baker manages the bullpen for today and what they'll do tomorrow. Remember, the Reds are in a streak now where they're going to play, 15 games in a row, so there are no off days where you can rest your pen.
Averaging almost 32 pitches in the first inning so far this year, and a high of 44 in that second outing against against Houston. He gets a strikeout there to put an end to a shaky top of the first. Have 9 innings worth of at-bats to try to get back in this thing, as the right-hander Jeff Carsons will pitch against this lineup put out there by Dusty Baker today. Drew Stubbs, there's Miguel Cairo in the 2-hole at second base, and then Votto, Roland Gomes and Bruce in the middle, and Ramon Hernandez, Paul Janisch, Edinson Volquez wind up the Reds 9 today against the right-hander Jeff Carsons.
Well, that lineup's got some work to do. They find themselves down 4 runs already. Jeff Carsons with a big edge. He's got a 1-0 record. First start for him. He's only pitched 5 innings plus, and he's walked 4. But Carsons is a guy, former New York Yankee, drafted in the 19th round back in 2003 out of Texas Tech. Came over here in a trade. We'll tell you about the trade later, but not overpowering. You know, fastball in the low 90s, changeup, curveball. He's hittable, but he's also a very serviceable right-handed pitcher. Now, against the Reds lineup that is Dusty Baker has written in there right now, they've done very well. .429 batting average, 5 doubles, couple of home runs. So they've pretty much had their way with Carsons, but we showed you that same stat. The Pittsburgh Pirates lineup against Edinson Volquez, they're hitting 074. Well, they've already bumped that way up.
Stubbs has done well, a home run against Carsons in his career. He's hitting .298. He's really been hitting well lately. He has 4 consecutive multi-hit games coming into this one, Drew Stubbs.
You know, he's waiting on the ball and hitting it the other way. The home runs we've seen Stubbs hit that have gone the other way, except for the one that he hit in where San Diego, where he went straight out the front door. Most of his home runs have been oppage, and that's good. And he's doing a good job in waiting on that curveball from Jeff Carsons. Carsons must have seen him yesterday when James McDonald threw that curveball on him, and Drew Stubbs told me he never saw it, and he had to bail out of the way, and it turned out to be a strike.
Stubbs tied for second in the team in home runs with 3. Tied for second in RBIs with 10. Johnny Gomes leads in both those categories with 5 long ones and 13 driven in. Here's Stubbs fouling it back to hang in there against this right-hander.
I mean, pretty impressive, Jim. Wouldn't you say that your leadoff guy is among the leaders on your team in runs batted in? I mean, that's almost a Ricky Henderson type of a statistic where, you know, you got a guy up there that can run but can also go deep.
Let's see if he can leg this out. Cedeno comes up firing and gets him at first base. Well, everybody's aware of how quickly Stubbs can get down the line now. Here is the rest of the Pirate defense. Our forward defensive look behind Jeff Karstens, Tabata, McCutcheon, and Garrett Jones in the outfield. Cedeno, the shortstop, just made a very nice play. And Chris Snyder back behind the plate, catching the offerings of the right-hander out of San Diego, Jeff Karstens, here today. Miguel Cairo, he started twice at second base all of last year. He makes his 3rd straight start at second base in this series due to the continued absence of Brandon Phillips, who really wanted to play today. Appears Dusty holding him out one more day. Cairo jumps ahead early. He's 1 for 9 in the series, hitting only 176. Brandon last played on Wednesday out in San Diego, where late in that game he strained his right groin, making a relay throw from right field on an overthrow at first base by Aroldis Chapman. Garrett Jones handles it, and there are 2 out. Here's Votto. Nice look at him, Chris, before the game. The way he is swinging, you mentioned it yesterday, he's hitting everything, everywhere it's pitched.
Well, you know, what makes him such a good hitter is that he's able to wait so long, especially with 2 strikes. Foul pitches off until a pitcher finally makes a mistake. But that given also with the fact that he's extremely strong. I mean, he's got forearms like fence posts, and a guy can hit the ball out of the ballpark anywhere. I mean, as a pitcher, you think you throw him a good pitch, and he hits the ball in left field, and it carries a lot farther than you ever thought, and here it is out of the ballpark.
Joey 3 hits in yesterday's game. He now leads the National League in on-base percentage at .540. He's reached base in 14 games this year in a row, or every game the Reds have played.
You know, it's interesting, Jim, how different teams pitch Joey Votto, or how different teams pitch different hitters who are the best, you know, around. And what I noticed from San Diego, watching the games against the Diamondbacks, against the Brewers, those teams tried to get Joey Votto down and in. A lot of right-handed sliders down and in, tried to get him to hit his back foot and swing over it that way. It seems like the Pirates are trying to get him out, going away, using the changeup away from a right-hander, trying to backdoor the breaking ball. Here's another outside pitch, or meant to be anyway. So it just goes to show you there's just no one way that you can pitch to a really good hitter like Joey Votto.
Well, at .451, he starts the day 2nd in the league in hitting behind the Dodgers' Matt Kemp. And just off to a torrid start these first 2 weeks. He draws the 2-out walk.
Well, he gets the walk that time on a pitch and misses down and in, but primarily when you look at where those pitchers were located, almost all of them are down and away. Down in this corner of the strike zone down here, and that is where, you know, they're trying to take some of the power away from Joey Votto. They're trying to make him commit on a fastball and then not be able to hold up on a changeup. But as he has done 32 times in a row, there he is on base.
32 straight starts dating back to last year. He's been on base. Here's Roland. Jeff Karstens is making his first start of the year. He's working here to Roland, who has 10 runs batted in for a .233 average. That's pretty good production.
Yeah, 10 hits and 10 runs batted in. What that tells me is that he's got some guys on base when he comes to the dish. Votto getting on an awful lot certainly helps. The way that Brandon Phillips has gotten out of the gate on base, that really helps as well.
Roland comes into this game 1 for 4 in the series. Didn't play in terms of starting yesterday, but did take over in the 9th inning at third when Juan Francisco left the game, which after the contest was listed as a cramp in his left calf. Today, a little bit more serious. It was wrapped. As you heard Hal McCoy say in the pregame show, he was limping around the clubhouse, and Dusty alluded to the fact that it is worse than a cramp. So this Reds team today playing 2 players short. Francisco unable to go. Phillips unable to go, although who knows what may happen with him. That one off the leg of Karstens, who will recover and throw to first for the out. He appears to be all right as he jogs off the field. 1 left for the Reds in inning 1. Are brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries.
Well, the pitches for Edinson Volquez in the first inning, 33 of them. That is right about how many he has averaged. Now, remember, what you hope for as a pitcher is about 15 per inning. And today, not so good for Volquez. A couple of home runs, walked the run in, 3 walks overall. Hopefully, he's over his first inning jitters and he can get back to business here starting the second.
Elk & Elk storylines. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Andrew McCutchen, like he did in the first, leads off here in the second. By the way, the back-to-back home runs by the Pirates in the first. The 3rd time in Pirate history they've opened a game with back-to-back home runs. They last did it in 1982. They also did it 1945. Do it here today against the Reds. Mentioned it early, but it bears repeating. After the first, Volquez has been everything that we would expect and hoped he would be. 1.29 ERA in his 3 starts after the first. McCutchen 2 for 2 now in this game as he singles to start the second.
Well, he was really in a slump, and of course the first day of this series against Bronson Arroyo and company, he went 0 for 5 with 4 punch outs. but he gets a high changeup right there, and he just takes that ball the other way. Same spot he hit the home run going to right field. Very talented young player. A lot of people think that this will be the year you're going to see a huge breakout with Andrew McCutchen.
Here is Tabata. Well, he's cutting there like he wants to come up with another long ball. Big old swing and a miss. Career high 4 hits on Friday night here, and then 0 for 5 yesterday. In fact, the top 3 in the Pittsburgh order yesterday went 1 for 12. As good as they were on Friday, they didn't get it done yesterday.
Good spot for that fastball right there. What a defensive little swing that Jose Tabata took. Just trying to fight that ball off. 93 miles an hour, running hard, right in on your hands. You think you're on it, and all of a sudden you know if I swing through that, it has a good chance to hit me in the knuckles. So now he's got him set up for all sorts of different opportunities. Change up down and away, change up down and in. Curveball. There's the change up down and in, and he just misses.
He's up over 40 pitches now, already at 43. Blows away the average you were talking about earlier of around 15 an inning.
We're excusing him out of the first inning. That's a whole different ball game for Edinson Volquez, at least this year. Oh,
they'll get one.
That hit the batter in the dugout with a broken bat, who was in on double deck. He was getting ready to come up. That's got to be Lyle Overbay. No, Overbay's coming up next. That would be Neil Walker down in the dugout. Maybe it wasn't Walker.
Well, that's visions of Tyler Colvin last year with the Cubs, who got plunked with a broken bat.
He ended up having a punctured lung.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, that's dangerous.
McCutchen forced at second. Tabata runs. Here's Overbay. Neil Walker is in the on-deck area.
There's a shot of that bat being shattered right there. Tabata swinging through it. And the big head of that bat went flying, went right down the stairway into the Pirates' dugout. You know, sometimes you see that ball get away like that for Volquez, both on a fastball and a changeup. He just gets his hands underneath the ball. For you pitchers out there, I don't care whether you throw sidearm or overhand, you always keep your fingertips on top of the ball rather than on the side, and you'll always be able to run that ball much more consistently where you want to. And I think that's part of Volquez's problem from time to time. He's got kind of a violent delivery, in as much as he jumps at the hitter, he gets his whole body and legs behind it, and he has a tendency just to drop his hand a little bit, and that ball just runs up out of the strike zone.
He's had some good success against Pittsburgh in his career, including a 7-inning no-run 1-hit performance a year ago.
That was the only time he pitched against him last year, was just that one start. Had 13 strikeouts in that ball game. Unfortunately for the Reds, it ended up in a 6-5 loss. And of course, with Tommy John surgery in 2009, he had not pitched against the Pirates, and you'd have to go all the way back to 2008 to get any of his history against them.
Well, after getting ahead of Overbay, he's now behind him 3-1. Threatening to walk his 4th already in this game. Runner going. Stolen base is second by Tabata, his 8th of the year.
Aggressive baseball by Clint Hurdle, and you're going to see a lot of that if you're a Pirates fan this year. He's going to push the opposition a little bit, push the pressure on him, and Tabata goes in very hard in at second base, loses balance, and comes off the bag. And now he gets into scoring position with one out.
That ties Tabata for the National League lead in stolen bases with the Dodgers' Matt Kemp with 8.
Lyle Overbay is going to help this ball club a lot. I'm not saying he's going to be a candidate for the MVP at the end of the year, but he gives you a guy that Clint Hurdle can pencil in the lineup every day, play good defense, good solid hitter against lefties and righties, a veteran presence in the clubhouse, just a good overall player to add to this Pirate team.
51st pitch of the inning now. Pardon me, of the game. See his ratio not very good either.
Hate when that happens. Flying open and dropping his arm a little bit, and that's the problem, and that's going to send Brian Price probably to the phone. Maybe to get somebody up and going, I don't know.
Reds did have action earlier in the bullpen back in the first. Now sitting at 52 pitches in this game. Edinson Volquez has walked 4. Given up 4 hits and 4 runs, and we're in the top of the second.
Well, with a short outing by Arroyo on Friday and Matt Maloney pitching 4 innings after 1 day rest, he's probably not able to pitch today. Jordan Smith has been run out there a lot. So now you're looking at kind of a short bullpen too. So instead of Dusty Baker able to manipulate his bullpen as you would usually do and like to do, you know, Bill Bray for maybe a hitter or 2, Andrusik for 1 inning. You know, he doesn't want to go to Chapman, to be honest with you. I think they'd like to stay away from him 1 more day. So the Reds are short on the bench due to a couple of injuries like, you know, Brandon Phillips and Juan Francisco, but they're also short in the pen. That's why it's important for Volquez to get his act together.
Deep down the right field corner, into the corner it goes.
Foul ball.
Bruce can't come up with it. Well, we've seen him make some spectacular catches down that way. Not that one. And the only pitcher, Chris, in the bullpen who hasn't had a ton of work is Francisco Cordero.
Yeah. They got some comfy chairs down there this year. Good day to get your tan on.
Sam LeCure pitched so well his last time out in San Diego. He's set to go in the first game of the series here on Tuesday against Arizona. Chris alluded to Matt Maloney went 4 here. Really good job on Friday night. Maybe a pair. 1 and 2. Inning over. 0 on the board in the top of the second for the Pirates.
north. So, you know, I just want to stay in the lineup as much as possible, and Dusty's given me the opportunity, and, you know, he's got my back, and I want to stay right in that middle of the lineup and hit behind Joey and Scott, you know, help this ball club, you know, keep this first place thing going.
Geico quote of the day from Johnny Gomes, talking about how his season has gone, how his career really has gone. For a big day yesterday, multi-home run game for Johnny Gomes, the 9th of his career. Hit a solo shot in the second. That came against James McDonald. And then a 2-run blast in the 6th inning against Joe Beimel, a left-hander. He's getting things started for the Reds here in the bottom of number 2. Down early 4-0. Bruce and Hernandez to follow here in the bottom of the second. A blast by Gomes.
Talking about a breaking ball that just kind of spins right on up there. The Cowboy Jeff Brantley likes to call them cement mixers. Johnny Gomes likes to call them dingers.
Gives the folks something to cheer about early as Jay Bruce stands in there.
I'll tell you what, Johnny Gomes, with the way he has been hitting the ball as hard as he has, and with it may be a little tough for him to stay humble. Yeah, I know that's his game plan, but man, oh man, he has become a major force. He's taken a lot of walks, on-base percentage, home run, 3rd home run the last couple of games. Guy's pumped.
Now tied with Lance Berkman for 2nd in home runs in the NL with 6, and both trailed Troy Tulowitzki of Columbus by 1, and he also now ties Tulowitzki and Ryan Howard, 2nd in the league in runs batted in. This team goes about the task of trying to inch closer in this game and get this fellow going, Jay Bruce. 2 for 8 in the series, a .224 average. He is rung up on that one over the inside part. Join FoxSportsOhio.com's Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy right now for a live in-game chat. Plus, check out the latest NFL mock draft and see what the Bengals may be looking for. It's only on FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. Jay Bruce, 17 times now he's struck out. He's among the National League leaders, unfortunately, in that department. Here's the fellow we talked a lot about in the pregame, Ramon Hernandez. 2 home runs this year, both huge. The walk-off on opening day, the first Reds grand slam of the year yesterday. 2 homers and 8 RBIs on the year. He raised his average yesterday when he went 3 for 4 from 231 to 300. Hernandez has been behind the plate for all of the starts for Edinson Volquez. Starts for the 2nd day in a row. Garrett Jones has a beat on it. 2 out. Jeff Karstens gives up the home run ball to start the inning to Gomes, then gets Bruce and Hernandez, and so the right-hander pitched collegiately at Texas Tech University, was originally drafted by the old Montreal Expos back in 2000. 45th round, did not sign, and then 3 years later, out of Texas Tech, drafted by the Yankees in the 19th round, 2003, did sign. Nice play at third. Alvarez gets the job done. Giannis is out, and the Reds settle for 1 through 2, trail by 3. Game with the Emmy Award-winning Reds Live here on Fox Sports Ohio. On tomorrow's Reds Live, Jim Walt Jocketty will be on the set, so don't miss your chance to hear the inside scoop on these first-place Red Legs. That's Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Here come the Pirates now in the third. Volquez gives up 4 in the first, hangs a 0 in the second, works to Pedro Alvarez to start inning number 3. Visiting half. And he falls behind. That's been an issue, not only in this game, but the early part of all the starts for Edinson Volquez. Alvarez called out on strikes his first time up. National League leading 19th K for this fella. Still only 24 years old. From the Dominican, lives in Nashville, Tennessee. First opportunity a year ago to make his way onto the big league scene, and he hit 16 home runs. th pitch now of this game, just thrown by Edinson Volquez. Tries to get the leadoff man here in the third. And he will, as Cairo makes the play. And a 4-3 putout. There is Gene Bennett, honored here this afternoon, longtime Reds executive. Honored on the field in pregame ceremonies. He's 82 years old. He retired in January after an unbelievable 58 years in the Reds organization.
Well, you know, he's a hero to so many people. He signed so many great players throughout the years. He was the eyes and ears of many, many general managers through his 58 years in the organization. Down around the Portsmouth, Wheelersburg area has a whole baseball complex named after him down there, and his friends at the Wheelersburg Little League would like to thank him for his kindness and generosity shown to the kids in the hometown of Wheelersburg, Ohio. Due in large part to your support of our league, Gene, our kids have a wonderful place to play. It's baseball and softball each year, and we'd like to say thank you and let you know how proud we are to have our kids play at a ballpark named after you, Gene Bennett Park. And I'll tell you what, you can't find a nicer guy or a more astute baseball man than Gene Bennett.
Anybody who's been involved in the Reds organization has known and talked to Gene Bennett. Wonderful baseball mind. Can pull things up. You mentioned a situation and he's encountered it.
You see some of the guys he signed there: Barry Larkin, Chris Sable, Paul O'Neill, Don Gullen. That's just a few of them. He's got a great picture down in the Portsmouth area, hanging in the I think the visitor center, of Don Gullen having a tryout with Gene Bennett, and Don Gullen in his American Legion uniform. And there's Gene, you know, watching him at the time. Of course, Gullen was probably 16 years old, probably throwing about 100 miles an hour. And Gene had to keep him a secret, which was a hard thing to do to a guy who was as talented as Gullen.
Another chance for Cairo as he will throw Garrett Jones out for the second out of the inning. He and his wife down there eating hot dogs at the ballpark. Doesn't get any better than that.
No, good to see Roberta and Gene here at the ballpark. And saw him up in the media room before, and when he came into the media room, you know, right before the game, all the media guys split, all of our TV crew, they're at their stations, but the scouts from other teams are still there. They're kind of waiting until the first pitch to get down to the field. And when they saw Gene come in the room, you thought the Pope showed up. They all jumped up. They wanted a picture taken with him, went over to say hi to Gene. And I mean, he is just so revered in the scouting community because he's been at it as long or longer than anybody, and he's just so respected for what he has done.
Well, you saw the graphic come up earlier in January of '09. He received the Legends in Scouting Award from the Professional Baseball Scouts Foundation. Ultimate award for scouts.
I'll tell you how smart he was. I asked him one day, I said, Gene, you know, you saw me pitch as an amateur. Why didn't you sign me? He goes, I'm too smart for that.
He said, I saw you pitch as an amateur. That's why.
Darn guy's honest, too.
Check swing, Snyder out. 1-2-3 third by Edinson Volquez, but the Reds trail 4-1 after 2.5. This season, that means another $25 from Shakely for the Reds Community Fund and Charlie Frank. Shakely, it's done. Let's see what they can do about Few RBIs here in the bottom of the third. Volquez will lead things off. And then the top of the Reds batting order against the right-hander Jeff Karstens. Walked one, he's fanned one, he's given up the one hit. That was the home run ball to Johnny Gomes.
Well, the difference in this ball game can be painted very easily. Jeff Karstens batted in the first inning, and here we are in the bottom of the third, and we're just getting around to Edinson Volquez.
Volquez not a big threat to get things going. He's 0 for 5 this year with 4 Ks. Bearcat Bowl 5, a 1-hour special looking at the Cincinnati Bearcats football program, premieres on Thursday at 8 p.m. Hear from head coach Butch Jones as well as current and former Bearcat players about the UC squad. Plus, get an inside look at the spring game. That's Thursday at 8 right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Here's Stubbs, grounded out his first time. Karstens now one time through the lineup. Let's see how he fares in round 2.
Well, one thing he is doing right is throwing strikes, and there's nothing worse for a pitcher than to give him a lead early in the ball game and then go out and see him nibble around the strike zone and put guys on base, you know, with walks. He's coming right after the hitters.
Carrying deep to center, but McCutchen gets there right in front of the wall to haul that thing in. He almost got turned around out there.
You know, that was a changeup that it looked like Drew Stubbs hit with one hand, and it just goes to show you how strong Stubbs is and how small this ballpark is. Wind blowing out today, yes, helped that ball a little bit, but that's a nice catch by McCutchen. You know, the key for a pitcher here, though, is don't get gun shy. Just because you saw a guy one-hand the ball and it went all the way to the warning track, you can't go out there and pitch defensively here. You've got to come after the hitter because home runs will happen here. You just don't want your home runs to happen against you with runners on base, especially after you walk the guys on to get there.
I guess that's the old mentality that pitchers used to be told about going into Fenway Park against the Green Monster.
Yeah. Never saw a ground ball go over that monster yet.
Cairo gets his second hit of this series in 11 ABs. Second hit by the Reds. They get a 2-out base runner. Here's Votto, walked his first time. Now reached base in all 15 Reds games this year, including a hit in 12 of them. One swing of his bat, and he's hit 2 out this year. Get the Reds back within 1. They have come back from a 4-0 deficit earlier this year. It was in Volquez's second start. It came against the Houston Astros. He gave up those 4 in the first. Reds up coming back to win that game. In fact, they didn't give up another run that entire evening. Trailed 4-0 after 1. Finally caught and surpassed the Astros in the third at 6-4. Ended up winning that one 12-4.
You know, that last pitch right there, spoiled by Joey Votto, is exactly why he's one of the best hitters in the league. A good hard fastball. He's waiting for a breaking ball. He's protecting against a breaking ball, and he's just able in time to slap that ball away. Not trying to get a base hit, just keep the at bat alive until Karstens now makes a mistake pitch on something that he can handle. 0-2. You want to make sure you don't get fooled by the breaking ball, so you protect the plate with the fastball. Too close to take, so you spoil it. Not everybody can do that.
Joey, a strikeout victim, the third of the game for Jeff Karstens, and we are through 3 at Great American Ballpark.
Ohio is brought to you by the JTM Food Group, proudly serving America's restaurants, schools, retailers, and our military around the world. JTM Food Group, by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers, where you can register to win the Tundra at Great American Ballpark. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by John Deere. Visit your local Cincinnati John Deere dealer this deer season.
Ronnie Cedeno to get it started here in the 4th for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have out-hit the Reds 4-2 and outscored them thus far 4-1. Sac fly his first time for Cedeno, 4th RBI of the season. And he immediately gets ahead 2-0. The veteran Ronnie Cedeno, second full year with the Pirates. He came over as part of that Jack Wilson deal a couple of years ago. Set the popular infielder out west of Seattle. Nicely done, and Roland throws Cedeno out for out number 1. And now for our AT&T trivia question of the game. How many times have the Reds and Pirates played in the postseason? How many times have the Reds and the Bucks gotten together in the postseason? How many times? And you get extra credit if you know the years that they played. So strap on the thinking cap. Carson's called out on strikes his first time. Edinson Volquez, since the walk to Overbay in the second, is now set down 5 in a row.
Well, he still walked 4 batters overall. And what that tells you is that if his control gets a little bit better, and it has gotten better since the first inning, those marginal pitches, as much as an umpire likes to call every pitch as it's on its own with no reason to say, well, he's wild, I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You still have a little bit of history of that game, and you're not as likely to get those close pitches called for strikes. And in that at bat against Karstens, it looked like Volquez threw a breaking ball he thought should have been called a strike. It wasn't, and gave a little extra look to the umpire. So it's one of those deals where, hey, if you want those marginal pitches to go your way, right from the get-go, you need to throw strikes.
Andrew McCutchen stands between Volquez and another 1-2-3 inning here in the 4th. He's had a good afternoon thus far. Home run the other way, single the other way. Roland is in on the edge of the grass at third.
Both pitches that Andrew McCutchen has hit, he's hit them hard. Obviously, a home run, an opposite field single, have been up. One was a changeup, one was a fastball, but it was up on the outer part of the plate. Time to keep the ball down on this guy.
Walks McCutchen on 4. That's his 5th walk of this game. That equals a season high. Still 2 away from a career worst.
You know, that's just a mental breakdown for Edinson Volquez. You get 2 quick outs and you've retired 5 in a row. You're thinking, all right, you know, now I'm on a roll. But when you go 2-0 on a hitter and you're rolling like that, it's time to take a little time out. Take a lap around the mound. Fool around with the rosin. Retie your shoestrings. Get rid of the negative vibes. Stand back up on the mound and concentrate. Just don't fire the next 2 pitches in there. Hope you hit the strike zone. And now he's got a guy on base who can steal a base. He's got the guy coming up next, Tabata, who's already hit a home run. I mean, you open up a whole new opportunity for failure when you lose your mental edge, even for just a couple of pitches like that.
Speaking of, he's now thrown 80. Pirates have not been caught stealing yet in this series. They're 3 out of 3. Pretty good percentage from McCutchen in his career. McCutchen's going.
Big jump. And he overslid the bag.
Cairo stayed with him, and McCutchen is out at second base. Here's a good look. Down by 3. against his right-hander Jeff Karstens, who's allowed the Reds just to run on 2 hits thus far.
You know, Jim, an interesting note on that throw out to end the inning of Andrew McCutchen trying to steal. Even though McCutchen looked like he had made the bag safe, but then overslid the bag, he does not get credit for a stolen base. It's a caught stealing. If you overrun the bag standing up and you get tagged out, then you get credit for a stolen base, and then you get tagged out, and it's just a put out. But I had to check with Ron Roth, the Reds official score, to figure that out, and then it's an actual rule that if you slide over the bag, you don't get credit for the stolen base. So even though he hit the base, he should have been safe. Since he slid over the bag, he's out and does not get credit for a stolen base. It's a caught stealing.
And credit Cairo for staying right with him, kept the ball right on him, and when he went off the base, he got the benefit.
It just goes to show you how hard these guys slide into the base. They don't slide and then stop when they get to the base. You know, that's not the way they time their slide. They're running almost within 2 steps of the bag before they finally hit the dirt. Look how close he is, McCutchen, when he actually hits the bag, or when he finally gets down to do a slide. Well, you know, the Pirates, with their small payroll, have had to do a lot to try to bolster their roster. And the trade that brought Jeff Karstens to the Pirates, they got 3 other major leagues in that trade, too. Daniel McCutchen, Ross Ollendorf on the DL. In fact, Carson's taking his spot today, and Jose Tabata has already hit a home run. To the Yankees went Damasud Marte and Xavier Nady. By the way, neither of those guys, as far as I'm concerned, and I know is still Marte is with the Yankees still. Of course, Xavier Nady is not. Marte is on the DL right now with the Yankees. So that turned out to be a pretty doggone good trade for the Pirates.
Yeah, we saw Nady with the Arizona Ball Club, but the Pirates have kept all those guys here. Back-to-back called third strikes by Karstens. First against Rowland, and now here against Gomes. Take a look at our Honda National League Central Division standings entering today. You see the Reds in front of Milwaukee by a 1.5 games. They pushed Milwaukee an extra game back yesterday when the Brewers lost, but the Cardinals have now won 4 in a row, and they're within a 1.5 games. So the 3 teams that everyone figured would be near the top right now are near the top. Off the glove there, the second baseman Neil Walker, and on into center.
Ball hit very hard, and fortunately for Jay Bruce, that ball kind of goes a little bit up the middle, and then the second baseman Neil Walker can't flag it down. Good break for Bruce. He could use that. He'll give him a base hit on that, obviously. Very tough play. You know, when you're mired in a slump like Bruce, it doesn't always take it. You have to hit clean base hits all the time to get out of it. Sometimes you need a little bit of good luck, and you're just looking for something to turn Bruce around because you know the talent is there.
Well, as you say, he hit that ball hard. He gets the benefit of the doubt from the official score, and gets the Reds' third hit. Snaps a streak of 3 straight strikeouts by Karstens, who's now fan 5. Here's Ramon Hernandez. Maybe he can pull off more offensive magic right here. His grand slam yesterday, part of that 7-run 5th inning that broke the game open. It was a 2-2 tie going into the bottom of the 5th yesterday. He had the grand slam in that inning, but we were praising Juan Francisco, Chris, for the big bases loaded single that he picked up right before that.
Put a good swing on it, came up with a big hit. If you don't keep the inning alive, you don't give Hernandez a chance to go deep. You know, interesting, we were taking a look at the standings, how close, you know, just a game and a half behind are the Brewers and the Cardinals. Remember, after the Diamondbacks come into town for a 3-game set, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the Reds will go to St. Louis and play that Cardinal ball club over the weekend.
And with the change in rotation, with Leak going yesterday, Volquez going today, that sets things up for Volquez to pitch game 1 in St. Louis. Nicely done by Hernandez, and Bruce will pull up at second base.
Well, you know, you talk about that matchup of Volquez pitching against St. Louis, and I'm wondering if there may have been something to that. So easily they changed the rotation spot for Edinson Volquez to pitch him today instead of yesterday. But really what also that means, if you look ahead, is that it will be Edinson Volquez versus Chris Carpenter in that first game at St. Louis. So strap them in and get them ready, because here we are playing good old-fashioned baseball in the gateway city to the west.
That series Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 22nd through the 24th over at Busch Stadium. It figures to be Volquez, Wood, and LeCure. Into the left center field gap, a produced Bruce. Hernandez to third. The ball gets by McCutchen, but Mark Berry will hold Hernandez at third base. That does allow Giannis to scoot on down to second, and the tying run is in scoring position.
Well, even as bad as Volquez was in the first inning, you had to figure it was going to take more than 4 runs in this ball game to beat the Reds. At least you hope so. This ball goes in the gap. Good first pitch hitting by Paul Giannis. He just goes right down there to get that. What a great shot from our Foxmo. Bruce, who started something with 2 down and nobody on with a base hit, all of a sudden comes around to score, and it's a 2-run game.
Hey, Bruce, safe at home, safe and secure with New York Life.
Well put.
Giannis with a base hit and a run batted in, and McCutchen with an error out in center for overrunning that ball, allowing Giannis to go down to second base. Pirates club has committed an error in each game now of this series. All this coming with 2 men out and nobody on. After Rowland and then Gomes were both called out on strikes. Hits by Bruce, Hernandez, and Giannis. What once was a 4-run deficit now has been cut in half. Runners at second and third and 2 out. Inning comes to an end, but the Reds do get a pair, and after 4, trail by a couple.
telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Reds fans, if a Reds player hits the Toyota sign during today's game, Dave Donovan of Cincinnati, who currently owns an 09 Camry, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. You can register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Lead cut in half. Reds get one in the bottom of the fourth and trail by a pair at 4-2. Volquez sitting at 82 pitches through 4. Will face 2-3-4 here in the fifth inning. Well, he's done a good job since the first and not allowing the Pirates to score again. He had 3 batters and out in the last inning. He had a 1-2-3 third and a 4-batter second.
You really shouldn't be surprised. He's done this at seemingly every start this year. Here his 4th start. Every start he's had a little difficulty in the first inning, and then he settled down.
Let's see if he can keep it going here with Jose Tabata stepping in to lead it off. Tabata homered in the first, get into a force play, then stole a base in the second. So he has 5 hits in a dozen at bats so far in this series. Tabata, the former #1 pick, he broke in last year with Pittsburgh. He was part of that trade Chris was talking about earlier between the Yankees and the Pirates. It also brought Jeff Karstens over, the starting pitcher of the Pirates in this game. Nice job to come back by Volquez to dispose of Tabata. Let's go back, take a look at our AT&T trivia question. How many times have the Reds and the Pirates played in the postseason? Extra credit if you know the years. The answers? Look at all those years in the 70s, 70, 72, 75, 79, 90. And all those years, except 79, the Reds came out victorious. Stubbs and Gomes come together. Stubbs taller, reached up, makes the catch. How about that old artificial turf? George Foster scored. Joe Oliver celebrates with Randy Myers. Sweet Lou. Great old highlights right there. Reds defeated the Pirates in 94-2 on their way to that last World Series title. Swept the Bucks in 70. Won in a 5-game series in 72. Swept them again in 75. So they've had their way with the Pirates other than the We Are Family year. Cairo makes it a 1-2-3 inning. In the top of the 5th for Edinson Volquez. We go to the bottom half. Reds down by a couple. Seen artifacts from Bench's personal collection, as well as video and audio highlights. For more info, visit redsmuseum.org. The Johnny Bench, baseball's greatest catcher exhibit. That's not Johnny, but it's the old Bench jersey right there. The old pullovers. Most of them buttoned down now. In fact, all of them are buttoned down now. You play in the pullover era?
Oh, yeah. You mean the uniform tops being pulled over?
Right.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, I'll tell you another guy who played in the pullover era who was sarcastically sent me a text a moment ago from down in the Portsmouth, Ohio area. When we showed the Reds and the Pirates. He played for the Pirates back in the day. Al Scoop Oliver.
Al
watches
Oliver.
a lot of our games, and what a great guy. I'll tell you what, he was a Mr. Line Drive waiting to happen when he stepped through the plate. But he just texted me and said, gee, thanks for the friendly reminder about all those years the Reds and the Pirates used to tee it up in the postseason.
You're the mainstay of some of those Pirate teams.
Oh, absolutely. Scoop could play. I've said it before, had it not been for the Reds just eking by the Pirates in those postseason games. Back in those days, I think it was 2 out of 3 series. It was a best of 5, and it would have been the Pirates that people would be talking about as perhaps, the best team of our entire generation, because they were right there with the Reds.
Those are the Stargell Clemente Pirates. Stubbs chases a breaking ball and strikes out. So a fellow who had 4 straight 2-hit games now 0 for 3 in this one.
6 punch outs now for Jeff Carstens.
Well, the Pirates have to be happy with what they've gotten out of this right-hander.
Well, you know what? I used the word serviceable early in the game to describe Jeff Carstens, and that's what he is. He knows what he has. We've watched him over the last couple of years now. He's gotten a little bit better every year, knowing what he can do and what he can't do with his stuff. And he just doesn't rear back and try to, snap off the best breaking ball in the world. He works you.
Cairo gives it a ride, and it's out of here.
Miguel Cairo, always a guy that loves to hit a ball up in the zone. He's just a good high ball hitter, and Carstens throws him a fastball. Looks like right there may have been a cutter on the outer part of the plate, and in this ballpark, you go with it, because you go with it opposite field, you can hit it right out of here, and it's a 1-run game.
He hit 4 for the Reds last year. He gets his first of this one. Now a rip by Votto that tips off the glove of Neil Walker, and on into center. Here come the Reds. They trailed 4-0, now trail 4-3, and have the tying run aboard with only 1 man out.
Well, they've been going after Joey Votto with fastballs all day long. They're kind of just challenging him here, right here, and he is up to it, ready to wheel that lumber on the first pitch.
Reds got their first run on the homer by Gomes in the second. RBI single by Giannis in the 4th made it 4-2. The homer by Cairo here makes it 4-3. And now Joey Votto gets a base hit, meaning he has a hit in 13 of the 15 Reds games thus far. And that's going to mean a visit to the mound as Scott Rowland is due up for Dusty's bunch. Ray Searage out there a number of times yesterday, out there again today, and he'll draw the entire infield together. Save Lyle Overbay at first.
Getting back to Miguel Cairo, he had 4 home runs last year as a part-time player. His season high ever was in 2004 when he hit 6 for the New York Yankees. He's hit 5 a couple of times, one year for the Cardinals, another year when he was an everyday player in his first year of everyday playing back with the Tampa Bay, in those days, Devil Rays in 1998. But he has been such an important part of this ball club.
Pirates have action in the bullpen. Daniel McCutchen is up and throwing.
I think he's going to sit next to Brandon Phillips now. Cairo and say, hey, Wally Pipp, how you doing today?
I just don't see that happening. But
hey, he's 2 for 3 with a homer. I don't see it happening either, but you never know.
But it's an idea to throw out there. Brandon won't let that happen. Rowland has bounced back to the mound and been called out on strikes. Karstens drawing the attention of Joey Votto over there. 74 pitches for Karstens, who coming into this game had thrown in 3 appearances, a grand total of 5 2/3 innings. He's worked 4 1/3 today.
I'm a little surprised watching Karstens' stuff. He's got a little bit of sink on his fastball. He's got a nice downward tilt on his breaking ball, that he doesn't get more ground balls and consequently more opportunities for ground ball double plays.
A la Charlie Morton.
Yeah.
Note on the board out there, Miguel Cairo's home run traveled 394 feet. Andrew McCutchen went up the wall to try to bring it back. Couldn't get close to it. Ripped by Rowland into the corner. This may tie the game as Tabata will dig it out. Mark Berry sends Votto plateward. He'll score standing up all the way back with the Reds.
Sure what happened down the left field corner with Jose Tabata, but I can tell you that ball is sizzled down the third baseline, hooking just inside the bag, and it goes all the way into the corner. Now Votto's going to be coming all the way. The play's happening in front of him right here, and he sees that Tabata is having a little tough time. He gets to go ahead by Mark Berry, will come all the way in, and Rowland goes to second base, and off the mat they have come to tie this bad boy up.
Clint Hurdle has seen enough. Pirates manager has gone to the mound. He got 4 innings out of Karstens, but doesn't get much more. Time for our skyline. Call to the bullpen. Daniel McCutchen is in. Opportunity for more here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and there's the line on Pittsburgh starter Jeff Karstens.
Ellie was an emergency starter. Karstens was pushed into service because of Ross Ollendorf going on the DL. He had it going for a while. Gave up a couple of home runs, but after a strikeout to start the inning here in the 5th, I think all they were trying to do is nurse him through the 5th inning. Because he had 76 pitches. They could get him through the 5th inning, maybe get him a chance to win the ball game. That would be that. But that plan is all by the wayside now for Clint Hurdle. Daniel McCutchen, one of those other players that the Pirates got in that trade with the New York Yankees that brought the starter Jeff Karsten over, will take the mound.
He actually began last season in their starting rotation, but things didn't go well for him. Went 2-5 in his first 7 starts, relegated to the bullpen the rest of the year, and actually started this year at AAA Indianapolis and recalled just 9 days ago on the 9th. Gomes just missed that one. And on one pitch, Daniel McCutchen gets the second out of the inning. Roland at second represents the go-ahead run in this 4-4 game. If you're going to fall behind early, 4-0 or so, best to do it early when you have the entire game to come back. That's what the Reds have done, much to the chagrin of those folks in the Pirate dugout. Here comes Roland. He'll score without a play, and the Reds take their first lead 5-4 on a run-producing hit by Bruce.
Now, the last couple of days, it seems like Jay Bruce was showing signs of coming out of it, showing signs of feeling a little more comfortable at the plate. Even though he struck out his first time, he had a couple of pretty good swings against the starter, Jeff Carson. This time he gets a ball, figuring a fastball was coming. Daniel McCutchen throws it down, and Bruce finds a hole to drive in to go-ahead run. 9 hits now for the Reds.
Clint Hurdle's ball club led early 4-0. Now it's Dusty's 9 that has taken a 5-4 lead. Still not finished with a runner on and 2 out. Well, it was the 5th inning yesterday that was so good to the Reds when they scored 7. They scored 3 times in the 5th thus far here today. Jeff Carson's line finished. 5 runs, all earned, 8 hits, 4 1/3 innings, a walk and 6 strikeouts, touched up for 2 home run balls. Cannot win, can only be the loser. Short way, inning over, but the Reds get 3 and take their first lead of this game through 5. Watch the National League leaders get their 21st. For your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details. Edinson Volquez, who came into this game at 2-0 with victories here against Houston and at San Diego, now in line to be the winner in this game as we play into the 6th. He's thrown 90 pitches through 5, so this would figure, wouldn't it, Chris, to be it?
Well, you know, you never know. I mean, if he can go out here and pitch a 10-pitch inning, you may want to run him right back on out there again.
In his starts this year, he's gone 91. This is from opening day. 91 pitches, 99 against Houston, 88 against San Diego, sitting at 90 in this one.
Yeah, that's probably the range where you're going to see him in. Want to keep him strong. Obviously, you always keep in mind with Edinson Volquez, even though he seems healthy, throwing the ball mid-90s, even harder than that from time to time, he's still just about a little more than a year or so removed from Tommy John surgery. So you want to treat him as carefully as possible, you know, until you're probably 2 years out of that surgery, just to make sure that everything is back to normal.
He'll face Pedro Alvarez, who's 0 for 2 in this game to lead it off.
That's a good changeup. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a fastball. It looks like it's coming right down the middle. And instead of at 95, it's 80 miles an hour with some serious sink.
It's been his most consistent pitch today, it seems.
Well, that's the pitch that got him here, and it's a pitch that has really made him an all-star. And I know that, you know, pitching coaches along the way have tried to work with him on a breaking ball, slider, curveball, other stuff, but I mean, his main 2 pitches are his fastball, changeup. There's another one.
And he sends Alvarez packing. Second time on strikes in this game.
You know, if you don't throw a changeup in today's game of baseball, you're just not going to make it. That's as simple as that. His grip has been kind of modified over the years, and I would be glad to show you at some point what he tries to do. But he holds it. It's kind of a modified circle change, but he's got big hands, Volquez does, long fingers, and he holds it very lightly in his hand. So when he throws that ball with whipping his arm through there as fast as he can, the ball is deadened by the loose grip.
He's now retired 10 of the last 11, with the only Pirate to reach Andrew McCutchen, who walked in the 4th, and then he was out at second via caught stealing when he overslid the bag. Volquez dealing now after falling behind early 4-0. That one carries right out of here for Garrett Jones. He goes the other way. His second home run of this series and his 3rd of the year.
Well, Garrett Jones is an extremely strong guy, and he just gets this ball seemingly up in the jet stream. I know the wind's blowing a little bit, and I think it really helped this ball get out of here. He put some charge into it, yes, but man, oh man, just kept carrying. I think off the bat, Johnny Gomes thought he had a chance at that.
That off the bat looked like a lazy fly ball to left field.
In this ballpark, if you put it in the air, you've got a chance. That's why strikeouts here kill you.
Pirates have action in their bullpen. A right-hander, Jose Veras, is throwing. That, by the way, gets Karstens off the hook for the loss in this game.
Hey, Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting products for your menu. Inspired solutions, better results, JTM. You know, despite giving up 3 home runs, Edinson Volquez still has figured out his changeup. And the way he explained it to me is make you believe you got a fork, a 4-prong fork, and you bend 2 prongs forward, and you put the ball right in those 2 prongs that are forward. The other fingers are kind of right on top. Nice and loose is the grip, and you throw that baby just like a fastball, but holding it very loosely with the outer fingers. That's how Volquez throws his changeup, and he's figured out a way to kind of turn it over a little bit, get a lot of action. You see the finger right there. This is the one that's bent a little bit, but he turns it over kind of this way, and that ball will consequently move that way.
That was a strikeout of Alvarez, and here's one of Chris Snyder. 6 of them now for Volquez.
This looks like the changeup again, and you see how that ball really runs inside. I mean, he gets that ball and he just throws his arm through there just like it's a fastball. The hitters will tell you, you know, the best guys with the best changeups, they sell it like a fastball, and you swing at the arm action and not necessarily the pitch itself.
Ronnie Cedeno bats, and should he keep this inning going, they have John Bowker to pinch hit for Daniel McCutchen, with the aforementioned Jose Veras continuing to throw in the Pirate pen. Volquez now is over 100 at 107 in terms of pitch count, his highest of the season. He is due up second in the Reds' 6th inning. Reds pen is active as well. Dusty Baker and Brian Price trying to get Volquez figured out in terms of the first inning. It's got to be aggravating for those two for certain.
Well, he's not the first pitcher in the history of baseball that has struggled in the first inning. I think everybody, one time or another, has gone through that. And I don't think that there's a clear answer. I mean, there's a lot of suggestions, but, you know, not very many of them work.
He loses Cedeno, so this is a season-high 6 walks for Edinson Volquez. That's going to be all for Daniel McCutchen, and here comes Dusty Baker, meaning that will be all for Edinson Volquez. And in fact, Dusty is headed toward the home plate umpire, Darrell Cousins, first, meaning he's going to make a double change.
Well, he waited, I think, until Bowker was put into the ball game by Clint Hurdle. And then the way the rules stated, in order for a manager to make a double switch, you have to go to the home plate umpire first to describe the double switch instead of going to the mound and then deciding to make the double switch. That's why Dusty's out there talking to Darrell Cousins right now.
Edinson Volquez is finished for the afternoon.
Fives are wild in that particular line. 5 2/3, 110 pitches. 5 hits, 5 runs, 6 walks. Man, that's the one area that you just really look at Edinson Volquez and say, come on now, Edinson, you're the ace of the staff. You can't be out there walking 6 batters in 5 innings every time out.
Part of that double switch, Ryan Hannigan now behind the plate, replacing Ramon Hernandez, and he'll be in the 9 spot in the order, or due up second in the bottom of the inning.
And Jordan Smith, very capable right-hander, really able to use his breaking ball and off-speed stuff right from the get-go. Tell you one thing about John Bowker: short arm, short swing. Don't try to get it inside on this guy. He can turn on you. And that's why they're going to pitch him away. So look how short his arms are. I'm not getting on the guy. I mean, he's a big league baseball player. But sometimes you can scout by body type. Guy's got long arms, chances are he's got a long swing. If you got short arms, don't try to get in there on T-Rex.
Bowker pinch hit yesterday, flied out. Pinch hitting again here today for Daniel McCutchen, who came on and got the final 2 outs of the bottom of the 5th. Pirates will employ a new pitcher in the bottom of the 6th. Volquez is actually responsible for Cedeno at first base.
Bowker will probably be, either he has already had it sent to him or will be picking it up when he gets to San Francisco, his World Series ring. He was with the Giants last year, traded to the Pirates at the end of June in exchange for the left-handed pitcher Javier Lopez.
Well into center, Stubbs chasing, can't get it. Pirates are going to take the lead. Scoring from first is Cedeno. That run charged to Volquez. Bowker gets the big pinch hit double, and the Pirates back in front.
He's got a powerful swing, John Bowker does, and this ball kind of hangs right over the center of the plate, and he puts a good hack on it. This ball, a chula, right in the bottom of the fence, and it dies right there, and that enables Ronnie Cedeno to come all the way around to score that go-ahead run.
That'll close the book on Volquez. He's charged with 6 runs, all of which were earned, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 5 2/3. Jordan Smith, who has not been scored on since opening day, he's gone 6 straight appearances without allowing a run. Tries to get Andrew McCutchen to keep that streak intact. Pitched yesterday, 1 inning, no runs, 1 hit. McCutchen, meanwhile, been on 3 times. Jordan Smith in danger of putting McCutchen on for the 4th time today, bringing up Jose Tabata, 3-0. And he does so with his 2nd walk in this game, and now McCutchen, a hit, a walk, and a walk. Jordan Smith will now get a visit from the pitching coach of the Reds, Brian Price. Pirates had the early 4-0 lead. Reds fought back, took their first lead of the day with 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Here the Pirates off the mat to get 2 so far here in the top of the 6th.
I think this is more of a pep talk by Brian Price out there. You know, you're not really sure as a pitching coach exactly when to go out. You don't want to go out too early and use your 1 trip, because the next trip out to the mound, of course, probably going to be with the manager. But I think they wanted to go over a scouting report of Tabata to make sure that Jordan Smith understands how the scouts say to go about getting him out. And then also, you know, something with Lyle Overbay next in the event that they lose Tabata.
Tabata, who homered in the first, is 1 out of 3.
Well, that is nice action on a fastball. I mean, when you're sitting at home and you can see that kind of movement on the fastball, that really says something. You know, you give me a guy with a little bit of late movement anytime.
Tabata struck out his last time, one of 6 strikeouts for Volquez in this game. Jordan Smith trying to put closure to the top of this inning. Each team has won a game in this series. The Pirates the opener Friday 6-1. And the Reds yesterday 11-2. Pinch hit double by John Bowker has given the Pirates the lead again here in the top of this inning. He's out at second base. Andrew McCutchen is over at first. Jose Tabata at the plate. Tabata, despite his good batting average on the year, does not have a hit yet this season with runners in scoring position. Nothing out of 6. He doesn't chase that one, and the count is full. More action now in the Reds pen. Lefty Bill Bray is throwing. Go. Got it. Inning is over, but the Pirates regain the lead. They put 2 on the board in the top of the 6th. Can. Nicely done right there by Miguel Cairo. Looked like a stolen base, then it was not a stolen base. Great work right there. Cairo stayed on it. Andrew McCutchen out. A Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. New pitcher on for the Pirates. Their third of the afternoon is a right-hander, Jose Veras, who takes over for Daniel McCutchen, who right now is in line to be the winner in this game.
Veras is a veteran, and he'll be used a lot between now and the end of the year. One of the guys that the Pirates signed hoping to bolster the end of their bullpen. And they've got a pretty good back end of their bullpen. They're not quite there yet. We saw Evan Meek pitch yesterday. We have not seen Joel Hanrahan, the closer. They say he has really thrown the ball well.
Veras signed in the offseason, in fact, in January. Non-roster signee. Makes his 7th appearance of the year. Reds find themselves now down again, trailing 6-5 here in the bottom of the 6th. Giannis, who had a bit of RBI single in the 4th, gets things going here. One out. New from 20th Century Fox, Rio, a movie that will bring the world to its feet, in theaters now.
Veras is a big guy, 6 feet 5 inches tall, close to 240 pounds. Originally signed by the Devil Rays back in 1998. He moved on to the Yankees. That's where he got his big league debut and pitched for them parts of several seasons. Last year he was with the Florida Marlins, both in the minor leagues and the major leagues, before coming over to the Pirates this year.
He put up some pretty good numbers with that Florida club last season.
He did. Overall, he was in 48 games with them, pitched 48 innings, and earned run average under 4.
More than a strikeout an inning for them.
Yep.
Gets the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 6th. Now it's Ryan Hannigan batting for the first time, part of that double switch when Jordan Smith came into the game. Ryan last played on Friday, went 0 for 3. And he's hitting .269 with a couple of home runs. 6 runs batted in.
Veras became a free agent last year. He became one of those non-tender free agents, meaning when the ball club does not tender you a contract, you automatically become a free agent. Oftentimes a team won't tender you because they're afraid you'll beat them up in arbitration. So the Marlins decided to put him on the free agent block instead of bringing him back. And the Pirates really thought they got something special here with a veteran like him coming in late in the ball game.
This year he's walked 1, struck out 6, 4 2/3 innings in those first 6 games. Long way to go in this one. Bottom of the 6th. Reds down by a run. Right at the lower edge of the strike zone there.
Veras comes from the same hometown as Edinson Volquez. The Red starter today, Santo Domingo.
This series wraps up here tomorrow. It's a night game, 7:10 start. Travis Wood will go for the Reds against free agent signee Kevin Correa of the Pirates. Former San Diego Padres pitcher from a year ago. Off the arm of the first baseman, Overbay, and the Reds have the tying run aboard. Hit hard, but appeared to be playable down there.
He never really got quite in front of that ball. Lyle Overbay did. He was moving to his right, maybe trying to get there, but one extra step ahead of time would have gotten that big body in front of the ball, knocked it down, and they may have still had to play at first base.
They were charged to Overbay, so that's the second E of this game for the Pirates. 5 in the series, 15 on the year. Have not been very solid defensively yet in 2011. Let's see if the Reds can make them pay here with Stubbs. Drew 0 for 3. Trying to keep a hitting streak alive, a modest one, sitting at 4. Ball's down. That's going to be a hit. Hannigan hustles into second. Garrett Jones gave an all-out effort out there. But the ball trickled away. The Reds have the tying run at second base.
Well, it looks like the ball was in his glove, and Garrett Jones is probably beating himself up for not being able to get that ball and hang on to it. But it happened so quick. That ball biting hard, a humpback line drive. Jones coming in quick. Fortunate that ball didn't get under his glove and go all the way to the wall, and Hannigan comes around to score on it.
He took a hard tumble to the ground, and maybe the force of the ground knocked that ball free, or his weight coming through knocked the ball out of the leather. Either way, it's a base hit for Drew Stubbs, who's now hitting 5 in a row. Here come the Reds. 2 on, 1 out. Home run hitting Miguel Cairo. Trying to answer the bell again here in the bottom of the 6th. Miguel making the most of this 3rd consecutive start. Started here on Friday night, hit 7th, went 1 for 4. Yesterday elevated to the 2 spot, went 0 for 5. But today a single in the 3rd, and that solo home run in the 5th. That at the time made it a 4-3 game in favor of Pittsburgh. Jose Veras trying to get the best of Miguel Cairo. Votto waits on deck. 16 hits total now in this game. 10 by the Reds, 6 by the Pirates. Chris Snyder will go to the mound to talk with Veras. Let's take a look at what Cairo did his last time.
He did exactly what everybody would like to see him do more often. What the other second baseman does from time to time, which is go deep. Picking on a high fastball, riding it right out of here over the right center field gap.
2 for the Reds in this game. The National League leading 21 on the year. He'll take one of those certainly again, but an extra base hit would be equally as big. Cairo battling against Veras. And the bases are loaded.
You know, how about a veteran move right here by Miguel Cairo? Does he try to get out of the way of this ball, or does he give you a little bit of, oh, I'll take the team. I'll take one for the team right there. A little breaking ball on the elbow. Thank you very much.
Well, here's Joey. Everybody on their feet. Big crowd on this Sunday afternoon. Reds picked up their first hit of the season yesterday with the bases loaded on the single by Francisco, and then, of course, followed up with the grand slam by Hernandez. Joey Votto, the man on the spot now. As he steps out, the pitch is a strike. Grand slam that Votto hit came last year at Atlanta against Tommy Hanson. Clutch hitter and Joey Votto. 2 homers, 8 RBIs on the season. Tying run is Hannigan at third. Go ahead run is Stubbs at second. Cairo hit by the pitch, perched over at first. And only one out. Went upstairs and got Votto.
Power versus power right there. You know, you're not very smart if you try to fool Joey Votto with a breaking ball. So Jose Barros, who throws the ball mid-90s, goes right up the ladder. And just throws one right by the MVP.
So now the onus of this inning falls on Roland. Big RBI double in the 5th that finally chased Karstens out of the game. Cut off. Got him at first. Walker does a nice job to stay with it. Reds threaten but fail. Still down by a run.
AT&T. By Cincinnati Children's, in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2010 Best Children's Hospitals. And by your Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers.
Nice play here by Walker, moving to his left, benefiting from the slow-footed Rowland.
Well, you got to stay with it, and that's what infielders are taught from the first day of pro ball. If you bobble a ball, jump on it right away and look around and see if you can make a play. And if you give up on that ball, the Reds tie the score up, and who knows what happens in the inning. But nice play by Walker, and we can go on to the 7th inning, and there is the left-hander Bill Bray, and for the 8th time. And as normally what you'll see more appearances out of Bill Bray than you will innings pitched. 7 games, 4 2/3 innings, a situational left-hander. And if you play the Pirates, you're a lefty in the bullpen, you're going to get your game time in because they've got plenty of southpaws that they run up there.
So let's see how Bray fares here. First pitch swinging, stroked, but caught out in right field by Bruce. Bill Bray retired the first 10 batters he faced this year over the course of 5 appearances. Did not allow a base runner until the 12th out in San Diego, when he allowed a double to Orlando Hudson. And he was only allowed a couple of hits and a couple of walks. He's been very good this year. Walker, switch hitter, turns around and bats from the right side. Two out of 4 against lefties this year. Will it stay up? It will not. It drops in front of Stubbs for a 1-out single. 2 hits on the day for Neil Walker.
Now, Neil Walker batting right-handed this time up against the left-handed throwing Bill Bray, and he gets that ball just up there. Looks like Drew Stubbs has a notion to come in and try to dive and make that catch, realizing you can't get to it, plays it safely. Last thing you want to do is see that ball squib by you and go all the way to the wall.
Double play is in order as Pedro Alvarez is struck out 2 of the 3 times up there. There's one. Got them both. Nicely done by Cairo, Janish, and Votto. And the top of the 7th inning comes to an end, and we'll stay right here for God Bless America on this Sunday afternoon, April the 17th, here at Great American Ballpark.
Let's honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Josh Stewart as he leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, why we're full. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Down on Friday, May the 13th, when the Reds take on the Cardinals. Stick around after the game for a spectacular post-game fireworks show presented by KOI Auto Parts. See your Reds battle St. Louis. Call 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com. Jose Veras stays in the game. Johnny Gomes leads it off. Reds still down by a run. The great chance on the bottom of the 6th. Left the bases loaded. In fact, the Reds have left at least one on in every inning except the second when they scored on the Gomes home run ball. Johnny in the game 1 out of 3 in the series, 3 out of 11 with a pair of homers. Now Bruce, and then the pitcher spot to follow. Bray a 3-batter 7th thanks to the double play ball. Second turn by the Reds today. We're able to get one off Neil Walker's bat back in the 2nd. Alvarez in the 7th. Strikes out for the 2nd time today. It's 9 strikeouts by Pirates pitching.
I'll tell you what, they've got some pretty good stuff going on right now with Jose Veras. That's a nice little breaking ball that he throws after showing Gomes a fastball. That slider gets Gomes out in front of it a little bit, pulled off with his left shoulder, and another punch out.
Correct that by saying 8 strikeouts now by Pirate pitching. Here's Bruce. Couple of hits today for Jay and a run batted in. He is hitting the 5th, scored Roland. Gave the Reds that short-lived 5-4 lead before the Pirates came up with 2 in the top of the 6th inning. Trying to get something started here with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. The off-speed pitch there. Hit well. Tie game.
Some kind of strong, and the big crowd here at Great American Ballpark today, they had about 7,000 walk-ups, are at their feet when Jay Bruce throws him with that swing deep into right center field. Not all that far from the Toyota sign, actually. You know, with the base hit that he had in his last at bat last night and 3 for 4 this afternoon, he's 4 for his last 5, and the last one, the big one, a home run to a deep part of the ballpark.
The Reds battle back for the 2nd time in this game. And we're even at 6. And now Heisey bats for Bill Bray. Remember, he had 4 pinch hit home runs a year ago.
learned about Chris Heisey and watching him, he's got a little bit of an edge. I mean, he realizes that there's big money to be made in this game. He looks around and says, hey, I'm every bit as good as these guys who were drafted in the first round. I'm going to go out and prove it. He's done that so far in part-time last year, spring training this year. I'll tell you one other thing about Heisey. Very quick on an inside fastball. And you'd think by his setup that you could get the ball in there. He holds his bat very high, kind of waves it. He almost challenges you to make your aiming point right underneath his left elbow. But if you leave it out over the dish at all, he's got the power to turn on it.
One home run this year. That was a 2-run shot at San Diego. A tough place to hit them. The Reds have the go-ahead run on here in the bottom of the 7th. Action in the Pirate bullpen.
Well, that walk, it seems like walks are wild today, and I think Darryl Cousins has a very fair strike zone. But here are the walks allowed by pitchers as a team in the National League. And you see the Reds are right there at 60. They have had 7 walks today, so that's updated for the Reds today. That gets them into second place. They came in tied for 4th with the Chicago Cubs, but the Pirates are right there. And that is not the kind of leaderboard you want your team on. But the Reds coax a walk out of Veras right there with Chris Heisey, and sometimes it can work to your advantage too.
Ray Searage buys time for that man, Clint Hurdle, the skipper of the Pirates. Here comes Darryl Cousins, speaking of, to go to the mound, break up the conference. Jose Veras came on, worked out of the jam in the 6th inning by striking out Votto with the bases loaded, then getting Roland to roll out. But he's been touched up for the game-tying home run by Jay Bruce. And now he's walked Heisey. Give the Reds the go-ahead runner on with 1 out for Stubbs. For Janisch. Chris Resop is the right-hander throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Janisch 1 for 3, an RBI single. That was back in the 4th. As you can see, he's been a very good hitter with runners on base this year. RBIs in the season for Janisch. Reds have out-hit the Pirates 11-7. Pittsburgh has committed the only 2 errors of this game. Boy, Heisey's drawing a lot of attention from Jose Veras on the hill.
You know, when Veras throws over there, same case for most right-handers, you're not thinking that you're really going to pick the guy off. All you want him to do is shorten his lead by a half a foot, maybe a quarter of a step, just to make sure that you try to keep him as close as possible and give your catcher a shot. You know, you see in youth ball so often the pitchers just get so much attention to the runners at first that these right-handers, they turn around, they fire the ball past the first baseman down the right field line. I imagine there are more errors by pitchers throwing the ball by first baseman than they actually have pickoffs.
Heisey stole a base here against Houston in the opening homestand. And again, he draws a throw. Reds in this series are 3 for 3. And stolen base attempts. Pretty good lead by Heisey. That one Counters in the dirt, and Heisey, what a heads-up play. He took right off when he saw that one bounce, and he's in scoring position.
That was an amazing play by Heisey because he's not going on the pitch. Look, he bounces off, and it's almost like it's a delayed steal. But when he sees that ball squirt away from the Pirate catcher, man, he is right on the spot and ready to go to second base. I'm telling you what, when the guy plays, things happen. I mean, I don't know whether it's just a weird coincidence, but sometimes you make your own things happen.
Now a hit could give the Reds the advantage. Wild pitch charge to Veras. A couple of chances to get that go-ahead run home. Fooled on that one. Giannis is a strikeout victim.
It's a good slider. Same slider that got Johnny Gomes gets Giannis.
Now it's Hannigan.
It looks like Clint Hurdle's going to make a double switch. He goes out to talk to Darryl Cousins. Interesting time with Hannigan up, a right-handed hitter just like Giannis, that they're going to make a pitching change. Maybe they just want to protect the arm of Veras. 40 pitches in a couple of innings.
Chris Resop will be the new pitcher. We'll come back to tell you about all the changes in a moment. A great value this season. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger meal deal, which includes a hot dog, a bag of chips, 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, David's sunflower seeds, all for just $7. Pirates made a double change. They have brought a new third baseman in. They have a new pitcher. That's Steve Pearce at third. He replaces Pedro Alvarez, and he will bat in the 9 spot. And the new hurler is the right-hander Chris Resop.
Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates claimed this young man, Chris Resop, off of waivers last year in August from the Atlanta Braves. Hard-throwing right-hander coming in here. We talked about it earlier. The Pirates have a pretty good back end of the bullpen. Resop being part of it. Joe Beimel, the left-hander, gives him a little bit of balance down there, bringing the veteran back. And Evan Meek and Joel Hanrahan, two hard-throwing right-handers that they try to close it out with.
But here's Hannigan against the 28-year-old Resop. Fourth pitcher used by the Bucks today. Veras goes 1 2/3. Runner at second, which is Heisey, is his responsibility. Resop against Hannigan here in the bottom of the 7th. Resop appeared yesterday, worked 1 inning. A walk, a strikeout.
He's been around a little bit. Originally signed by the Marlins. Angels picked him up in a trade with involved Kevin Gregg. Went to the Braves from there. Then he was designated by assignment. Ended up being sent out to Japan, where he played for the Hanshin Tigers. And when he came back to the States, he re-signed with the Braves, and they put him on waivers, and the Pirates picked him up.
be caught by Walker, and the inning comes to an end. So the Reds do get the run to tie things. It comes on this blast by Bruce as we head to the 8th. Coors cold, hard blast of this game. One by Bruce, the second of the year, both in this series. Knotted things in the bottom of the 7th at 6-all. Jay's starting to come around with his first 3-hit game of the season today. Pair of singles, a home run, couple of runs batted in. We play into the 8th. New pitcher on is Logan Ondrusek.
He's a homegrown product for the Reds. 13th round draft pick out of a junior college, McClellan Junior College in Texas. Native of Hallettsville, Texas. Big, tall right-hander, 6 feet 8 inches tall. Had a great spring training. Did not give up a run, and he has run his record this year to 2-0, 7-0 now to start his career with the Reds.
Well, if he can shut them down here, Reds get something in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. Chopper is going to be a fair ball and an infield hit to start the 8th inning by Garrett Jones. Boy, he's been involved in some big plays in this series, and he's on that dribbler to start the 8th.
That ball hits right off the home plate, takes a high hop right there, and at that point there's not a lot of English on the ball, so Scott Rowland figures, hey, I'm not going to let it try to roll foul. It's not going to roll foul, and an infield hit.
Well, you mentioned Ondrusek starting 7-0 in his career. If he can get one more without a loss, he'll tie lefty Rob Murphy for the franchise record for victories to start a career. Murphy did it in 86 and 87. Snyder trying to move the runner along, fouls it. Bray an inning, no runs, a hit. Ondrusek, 8th appearance, 2-0 with a 1.17 ERA.
Well, part of the thinking for Clint Hurdle is this. Rather than try to go for a big inning, Snyder's a ground ball double play candidate. And that's why they're going to bunt him across. Somebody a little premature with the fireworks there.
PNC smokestacks.
Yeah. Heating up inside there.
Reds will have the top of the order up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Already turned a pair of double plays in this game. Let's see if Snyder shows bunt again here. Runner going, pitch out, and Hannigan had the ball pop out of his glove.
Sometimes things happen so clearly and so perfectly that you get so excited you can't get your handle on it. And I think that's what happened here to Hannigan. They have got him dead. He just got to reach into his glove and get the ball and just can't do it. Tough break for the Reds.
First of the year by Jones puts him in scoring position.
Boy, that's aggressive running for the Pirates right there to send Jones. Now they're going to try to get him a third, and look at this.
Andrusik was going to field that ball, and it appeared as if he was going to spin and go to third. What do you think?
Man, somebody follow that ball around and find out what it eats. It appears as if it's live.
He had a great chance, it appeared, there had he fielded that ball. You can see Jones in the background halfway to third. But the ball went under the glove. It'll be a sacrifice bunt for Snyder and an error.
Okay.
On Andrusik.
A squeeze, and they got him.
Got him at the plate. Andrusik just shoveled it to Hannigan.
You know what? When the ball gets down, if you have a good jump as a runner, this should not even be an option for a defensive play. But he just got such a lousy jump at third base, Garrett Jones did. I don't know whether he didn't know the play was coming or didn't get a big enough lead. But if the play is executed properly by the batter, there is no play normally at home. The Reds take advantage of a bad jump by the Pirates runner at third. And Clint Hurdle trying to steal a run is thwarted.
Hannigan did a great job, didn't he, Chris, of getting that left leg out there as well.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, we'll take a look again at it. Here's the play by Andrusik using his glove as a little cesta and flipping that ball right to Hannigan. Hannigan lays his left leg out there to make sure that it's tough for Jones to get to the plate. But he just didn't have a big lead down there.
And now Steve Pearce batting for the first time, pops it up. Infield fly rule. Ball is caught by Giannis. And what looked like it was going to be a terrible inning now has the potential to be a 0 on the Pittsburgh side in the 8th.
Another premature little fireworks coming out of the smokestacks. Another one. I hope that guy doesn't work in a missile silo. We'd all be in trouble.
Two on with two out. Andrusik in a strange inning trying to get through here without giving up the lead. 6-6 the score. McCutcheon been on 4 times. Pair of hits, pair of walks.
Andrusik throwing a lot of strikes, just like last inning. Bill Bray coming right after him.
Here comes the runner. That's Snyder. They'll go to third. Safe the call. They would have thwarted the run right there, it appeared. Boy, that was close.
What a great bit of hitting by Andrew McCutcheon. 0-2 count. Good slider down and away. I mean, he just reaches out to get that ball. Maybe Andrusik wanted it a little bit more outside. I don't know, but that is just real good hitting. And because he did not hit it very hard, he gave him plenty of time to score.
That play at third base, Stubbs came up firing, trying to gun down the runner Cedeno. Look at this. He gets in there, but had they been able to get him, Snyder had not yet crossed the plate. That run would not have counted.
Well, disappointed, especially Logan Andrusik. That was the man that laid down the sacrifice bunt that went right by Andrusik and had an error that came around to score that go-ahead run.
Clutch hit by Andrew McCutcheon. 3 for 3 in this game with a couple of RBIs for the 3rd time today. Pirates have the lead.
Tell you what, that is some dandy hitting by McCutchen. For a guy to look as bad as he did on Friday night, I mean, he looked like he never played the game before when he was facing Bronson Arroyo. Struck out 4 times, had a weak ground ball his 5th time up. And he has come back really to swing the bat well the rest of the series. Take another look at that base hit on McCutchen. 0-2. I mean, that ball's down and out of the strike zone right there. You can't throw it much better than that if you're Logan Ondrusek, and McCutchen went right down there to get it.
That pitch is laid off, isn't it, most of the time?
Oh, well, you know, on a 0-2 count, sometimes it's foul off. But if you take it at strike 3, and if you try to swing at it, most of the time you're swinging through it.
McCutchen going as Tabata fouls it. The Pirates have picked up an unearned run here in the top of the 8th. Lead 7-6. Winner of this game will have the advantage in the series, going for the series victory here tomorrow night in the 7-10 game. Pirates a victory Friday. The Reds answered yesterday. These teams have battled toe-to-toe here today. Boy, Ondrusek almost made another mistake right there.
Kind of a weird play right there. It looked like he started to throw over, then didn't want to, but he knew he couldn't hold up or else it would be a balk. The good thing Joey Votto there was able to at least keep the ball in front of him.
Yeah, Votto saved Logan right there with that short hop pick. Ondrusek, the 3rd reliever that Dusty Baker has used today following the starter Edinson Volquez. Ondrusek with that long reach was able to get that ball to end the inning, but not before the Pirates pick up an unearned run and regain the lead. Sports Ohio for Reds Live, here from Dusty Baker before anyone else, and exclusive interviews with the starting pitcher and stars of the game. That's Reds Live postgame, brought to you by King's Honda in the King's Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. New pitcher on is Evan Meek as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Meek takes over for Chris Resop, who faces one batter. Hannigan got him on the pop-up. Resop now is in line to be the winner. This is the way that the Pirates like to set it up. Meek in the 8th, and Hanrahan, they can get it to him in the 9th. Stubbs trying to spoil that. Evan Meek on the year, 0-1 with a 7.71 ERA. This is his 7th game. Meek, 27 years old, out of Bellevue, Washington. Good year 2 years ago, but a very good year last year.
Now, he was originally drafted by the Twins, Evan Meek was, and they had him for a few years. They eventually let him go. They didn't like his attitude. They didn't like his control. Both of them, I think, out of control. But he has kept himself a little more under control overall and has worked himself into the back end of this Pirate bullpen.
He gets a strikeout of Drew Stubbs to start the bottom of the 8th.
It's another one of those astute pickups by the Pirates, and you know, used to not be able to say that very often, but they picked him off the Rule 5 draft list in 2005 from the Tampa Bay Rays, and ended up giving the Rays some money so that they could send Meek down to the minor leagues, and eventually he's back in the big leagues and fulfilling some of the promise that he showed as an amateur.
Here's Miguel Cairo. Yesterday we told you about Johnny Cueto's rehab start down in Louisville. We mentioned earlier today that Homer Bailey was making a rehab start for the AAA Louisville team, and Homer today goes 5 innings, allows no runs, 2 hits, a walk and 2 strikeouts in 62 pitches thrown. Line on Homer. That game was 0-0 in the 8th until Louisville took the lead down there on a Jeremy Hermida 3-run double, and Dusty had some nice things to say about Hermida's good start this year at Louisville. So both pitchers, yesterday Cueto, today Bailey, throw pretty well.
Well, you know, I asked Johnny Cueto this morning when I saw him.
Base hit, Cairo.
How do you rate your outing yesterday on a scale of 1 to 10? And he told me about an 8. So he's on his way back. Johnny C is. Homer Bailey throwing the ball extremely well, obviously, today. They're going to go at least one more outing down there before they get called back.
Hey, Reds fans, right here, right now, this weekend, book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com.
Miguel Cairo on base 4 times today.
Joey Votto struck out with the bases loaded his last time. He'd like to answer with a big AB here.
You know, it's Cairo's amazing. Last year, if you remember, when Joey Votto was out with a stiff neck for about 6 or 7 games, Cairo came in and hit about 600 in his absence. I mean, you didn't even miss Votto at that time. Today, you don't miss Brandon Phillips because he's been on 4 times and he's hit a home run.
Good cut by Votto, evening the count. Joey in this game has walked and struck out, singled and struck out. He's due a big one the way he's been going.
Well, you know, he's been locked in, and when they've gotten him out, they've gotten him out on fastballs. Jeff Carson, the starter, struck him out on a fastball in the 3rd inning on an 0-2 count, and Jose Veras blew him away with a high heater in the 7th. Make it the 6th.
Down by a run of the Reds with the tying run on, 1 out in the 8th. Votto all tied up on that pitch.
wants to come right back in on him again. You know, Mika's not a big guy as far as being tall. He's 6'1", but he's stout, 220-plus pounds, and he throws what a lot of people describe as out of his shirt. So these kind of short-arm delivery, and it comes right out of his shirt, and you don't really pick the ball up that much. And it doesn't really look like AT CIN, at least the last couple of pitches. Snyder wants it inside again, and Meek wants a slider. We'll see if the catcher Snyder overrules the pitcher. Coming in the kitchen.
Full Votto with Cairo aboard. Miguel represents the tying run for the Redlegs here in the bottom of the 8th. Cairo going.
Well, they just keep coming Powder River after Joey Votto on the inner part of the plate. There's nothing about Evan Meek that says, I'm going to try to trick you.
Again, Cairo on the move, and this time Votto draws the walk. The Reds have the tying run in scoring position and the go-ahead run at first. Then Hurtle's going to make a double change as he comes out. A lot of maneuvering by both of these managers today. We'll have a new pitcher. We'll come back with more from GABP in a moment. Is now in left field. Out of the game is Jose Tabada. And Joel Hanrahan, who is the closer on this Pirates team, takes over on the mound.
Well, he's formerly a relief pitcher with the Washington Nationals. He's also been with the Los Angeles Dodgers in their minor league system, drafted by them back in 2000 out of a high school in Iowa. But he is a hard thrower. You know, normally Hanrahan, you scout him, and you say, well, he throws anywhere from 92 to 95. They've got him up this year anywhere around 97 and 98 with some hair on it. I mean, that ball moves a little bit, too. So Clint Hurdle in here trying to give his closer an opportunity to close it out, but it'll be a 5-out save if Hanrahan can do it.
Rolling 1 out of 4 in this game.
You know, an interesting time for Clint Hurdle to make that move. You got a righty out of there. You let Meek face Votto. Then you bring in Hanrahan to face Rowland. Against Hanrahan, Scott Rowland is 5 for 10. Against Evan Meek, he's 1 for 5. So Clint Hurdle really doesn't care what the history book says. He was going to go with what his feel is.
Well, let's see if that good trend for Rowland can continue here. Game on the line in the bottom of the 8th. One out single by Cairo. A walk to Votto spelled the end of Evan Meek. Now it's Joel Hanrahan. Good start for Rowland at 2-0. 6'4", 245. Hanrahan. He's a big body out there. This guy can bring it, that's for sure. The shortstop, and the end result, a double play as they take a hit and an RBI away from Rowland, who just absolutely scorched that ball. We head to the 9th. Reds down by a run. Was hit hard. Right spot, right time for Ronnie Cedeno at shortstop. First double play turned by the Pirates. They're living on the good side, at least in that inning. So new pitcher on for the Reds. Dusty's closer, Francisco Cordero. Cordero is 2 out of 2 in save opportunities this year. They'll try to be a winner here. Shut the Pirates down and then hope the offense can come up with something in the bottom of the 9th inning. He's not been that busy. Last work 5 days ago out in San Diego. Saved a game here against Milwaukee in the first series. Saved a game in San Diego in the 3-2 Reds win out there.
You walk a fine line when you have a reliever like Cordero, your closer, who doesn't get consistent work. Either you're losing games or you're blowing teams out, and you don't need a guy to come in and get the save. So you want to keep him sharp, but you don't want to get him so much use, for instance, in yesterday's ball game, that he couldn't come back today and then pitch tomorrow again. So it's kind of a catch-22 for a manager to figure out when to use him. This is an ideal spot, obviously, although not as ideal as if he were nailing down a save.
Facing Overbay, and Cairo will throw him out for the first out of the top of the ninth. Get to Great American Ballpark Thursday, that's April the 21st, for a special senior ticket offer presented by Tri-State Centers for Sight. Reds fans 60 and older may purchase non-premium tickets at half price in advance of game day only. First pitch is at 12:35 as the Reds take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to Reds.com. One out for Neil Walker. Neil has a pair of hits today. Started batting from this side of the plate, turned around and hit from the right side against Bray and had a hit. Now batting from the left side again. Reds in the bottom of the ninth. We'll have Gomes, Bruce, and pinch hitter for Cordero. The only player they have left is Edgar Renteria, although Phillips wanted to play today. Dusty said he wasn't available to start. Don't know if that means he's unavailable to play at all, or he could potentially be used as a pinch hitter. Juan Francisco with that what appeared to be a strained calf, unavailable. Three and one to Walker.
Well, you couldn't use Phillips as a pinch hitter unless you plan to put him in the game. Well, I guess you could do it when the pitcher spot comes back around, as long as you leave everybody else intact. But you're really out of position players. Renteria. I think what more is on Dusty's mind is figuring out a way to get a run to either tie this game up, send it into extra innings, or get a couple and take it on in.
Gomes on the run. Johnny nearing foul ground. Foul ball. Cordero gets the leadoff man Overbay. Now working on Walker. Matt Diaz in the on-deck circle. He'll hit for the first time. Familiar lean over at the waist by Cordero. Arm dangling free. Walker walks. He's on base for the third time. 8 walks. 8 walks given up now by the Reds in this game.
You know, the interesting thing is, out of that, only 2 of those have scored. A walk by Volquez in the first inning and another one in the 6th.
New season high for the Reds staff. 8 walks in a game.
Yeah, that's one area where they were really good last year. They were 11th in the league last year, meaning among the best in the league in not giving up walks. And I think that made a huge difference, especially when you play in a small ballpark.
Diaz batting for the first time. hitting .217 on the year with 2 runs batted in. First action he's had in this series.
He's got a lot of power, Matt Diaz does. Big, strong guy, but he likes the ball on the inner part of the plate. Another guy with relatively short arms that you pitch him down and away, he'll chase it, kind of pull off of it a little bit. But you make a mistake over the middle of the dish, and he will hit it as far as anyone.
As Diaz hits it in the air. Bruce waiting and waiting and makes the catch. He had ideas of catching and throwing back to first, but that ball hung up. And Diaz, former teammate of Johnny Gomes down in Tampa Bay, is the second out of the inning. Garrett Jones bats. Big part of this series for Pittsburgh. Friday night, a homer, another hit in their 6-1 win. Yesterday, a pair of hits and a walk with the bases loaded. Today, another home run. Big Sunday crowd here today, over 32,000, 32,105.
Somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 walk-ups. You predicted a nice day weather-wise, Jim Kelch. You did a nice job on that.
Well, I do what I can. I confer with Jeff Creighton on those kind of things.
Always good to do.
Sometimes I talk with Michelle Boudelet. Ask her about it. Runner going. And a stolen base for Neil Walker.
Hey, one thing, the difference between this Pirate team this year and last year as being aggressive on the base pass. Boy, Clint Hurdle has just given these guys a green light. You just go ahead and run, guys.
Both Garrett Jones and Neil Walker had not attempted a stolen base yet this year. Both have picked one up in this game. The Pirates 3 for 4 stolen bases in this contest. Nicely done by Cordero as Jones goes down, and so the Reds get their 9th chance in this one, down by a run. In save situations, we'll try to save this one for Chris Resop, trying to hang a loss, and if the Reds don't come back, it would be the first major league loss for the right-hander Logan Ondrusek, who allowed an unearned run in the 8th.
Well, it was an unearned run, Jim, because he was the one that made the error. Some people think that's a scoring flaw, that if a pitcher makes his own error, then it ought to be ended up being entitled to be an earned run. But he had a bunt that came back to him that went right over his glove. That run came around to score in the name of Chris Snyder. And that's the difference in this ball game.
You talked about Hanrahan, Chris, having to get a 5-out save. He was really helped by that line drive double play, wasn't he?
Well, you know, sometimes you're living right, and that ball was scorched by Scott Rowland, who had really had a pretty good run of success against Hanrahan, but it was right at the shortstop who turned it into a line drive double play.
Gomes to get it started. To third. He's thrown out by Steve Pierce. So 1 pitch, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Batter will be Jay Bruce. Here's Jay Bruce. He has 1 hit in his career against Hanrahan, and that's a home run ball. Ed would love one here. Jay has a 3-hit day going. Jay homered back in the 7th. It's ahead 2-0. Edgar Renteria is indeed on deck for Dusty's club to pinch hit for Cordero. Collective groan there as Bruce swings and misses. Who's going to get it? Tying run is on as Jay Bruce overran the base and is going to be tagged out. Jay beat that out and took ever so slight a movement to his left. Tried to correct it, but he is out.
Really hard to blame Jay Bruce right here. This is something that happens so fast. It's a ball that's in front of the plate, fielded by the catcher. He'll throw it over the head of the first baseman. Now, as soon as Jay Bruce sees the ball, he's thinking, hey, maybe I can go to second. Oops. And as soon as you make a movement like that towards second base, then you are live game right there, and that's when they came back and touched him to make the second out of the inning. That movement is enough right there.
That's a base hit for Bruce.
A tough break.
And a very tough play, like you're saying, and a 4-3 put out at first for the second out of the inning. Renteria toward the middle. That looked like it skimmed the bag, and Edgar is on with a pinch hit base hit. The Reds are not finished yet. Renteria now 2 for 2 in pinch hit appearances. We'll see if that ball did hit the bag.
Well, I'll tell you what, Hanrahan getting some ground balls right here. That ball hits off the plate, takes a high hop, and I'm not sure what it hit out there in the outfield in the dirt part, but it really skidded through.
Yeah, just over the base and off that grass lip. So Giannis is at the plate with the tying run aboard. Two hits in the inning, both infield singles. Giannis, who was 1 for 4, is up there. 7-6 Pittsburgh, 9th inning. Into right. Let's see if the runner makes the turn. He will not. Renteria rounds second and stays put as Garrett Jones came up cleanly with the ball.
Well, you got to love this Reds team. They just are battling and battling, making something out of nothing. Great bit of hitting by Giannis. He sees the open side, takes a pitch on the outer part of the plate. Renteria holds up to wait for this ball to get through, and he's not going to third base anyway. A base hit will score him, as he is in scoring position right now with 2 outs.
Going back to that play by Bruce, and you said can't blame the guy. The play was right there. It happened so quickly. Could he have scored, you think, on that base hit?
If he was on second base?
Correct. Or would they have sent him?
Probably. With 2 outs, they would definitely have. So he wouldn't have had 2 outs on him. Only been 1 out. Maybe they would have hold him up.
Now it's Hannigan.
I tell you.
Hanrahan almost let one slip back to the screen right there. Reds have amassed 15 hits in this game. Still trail by a run. There's a wild one uncorked. Now a hit could win it. Boy, he almost did it on the previous pitch. Unloads one on that one.
Hey, another wild one like that would do it. I'd say he's amped up a little bit. They're going to send the pitching coach out just to try to calm him down a little bit.
Ray Searage has been busy from that third base dugout today. He goes out to the mound. Wind has been whipping around the ballpark, particularly late, and there was a gust that took some trash out onto the field.
This is all about trying to settle down his pitcher right there, where you see back-to-back pitches. One nearly goes to the screen. The next one does go to the screen. You got a guy throwing 98 miles an hour out there. Try to talk him into taking a deep breath. Now, Ray Searage will pick up some of that trash. If I'm Ray Searage, I leave that piece of trash right there, hoping that at the opportune time, it blows right in front of the batter's face. I know it's a long shot, but I'm taking every chance I can get.
2-0 to Hannigan. Ball 3. Stubbs representing the top of the order on deck. Both managers fretting it out here in the bottom of the 9th. Borderline strike. Crowd's gotten their money's worth of baseball today. This game over 3.5 hours old. The Reds down by a run with second and third occupied in the 9th. Ball 4. Stubbs in this game has a hit, 1 for 5. He has 3 home runs on the year and 10 runs batted in. Reds did not have a hit this year with the bases loaded until yesterday. Stubbs up there. Talked about the adrenaline pumping, Chris, on Joel Hanrahan. It may be getting the best of him right now.
Well, you're right about that. On our Fox radar gun, 101 miles an hour, 102 by the radar gun here at the ballpark. Clint Hurdle says, hey, how about taking a couple of MPHs off and throw it for a strike? If I'm Drew Stubbs right here, I'm squatting down low and taking all the way.
In the air, right center. Pirates win. Hanrahan saves the game for Chris Rehsop. They hang the first major league career loss on Logan Ondrusek, and the Pirates avoid problems in the bottom of the 9th inning and win this game over the Reds 7-6.
Well, you know, you put yourself in a hole early on when you give up a 4 spot in the 1st inning. The Reds as a team did a great job coming back. Again, they collect 15 hits today. I mean, they're off. There's nothing wrong with their offense at all. But they've got to get Edinson Volquez straightened down. I know he was nice and tight after the 1st inning, but you just can't put your team into a 4-0 hole and expect them to climb out of it every time.
So the final game of this series then will come up tomorrow at 7:10. The Reds will need a win to split this 4-game set against this Pirates ball club. And yeah, you're exactly right. The Reds had some great opportunities in this game, but that 4 spot in the first certainly hurt them. They leave 13 runners on base in this game. On the other side of things, other than Volquez, the relief corps did a pretty good job.
Well, they did a nice job. The relief corps did. You know, starting with Phil Bray coming into the ball game. Before that, Jordan Smith pitched well. Ondrusik, you know, just had a couple of quirky plays out there, and especially the one that he missed that ended up resulting in the go-ahead run that was the difference in this ball game, an unearned run. Nonetheless, he made a nice play on a suicide squeeze to get the guy at the plate. Cordero came in and pitched a good inning, so there's not a lot wrong with this ball club. It's just one of those games today that you let get away, and it didn't happen that much last year. You can't let it start happening this year.
Pirates win at 7-6. Let's go downstairs. So Reds Live postgame.